All right, welcome back to episode 2. In this one, I am back at the 2 18-unit complexes that we bought for $5,600. Now we are gonna break down, we are in the middle of the process. We are actually finally closed on these buildings and we have already started construction. In this video, you are gonna learn about how the financials look on this deal. How did we close for $5,600? What do the repairs look like? How did we budget for those? Also, what is the final cost on some of these numbers? I'm gonna tease you with some of the final costs, but there is going to be a third episode to these deals. We are gonna call these the Southview deals because that's what they are called as the brand themselves. So guys, stick around. Let's get right into where we are in the remodel process first. All right, let's check out these buildings. I'm actually gonna check out building number 1. We are in the painting process. So we have completed demo. We have also finished most of the painting in this building number 1. So we're gonna kind of go and check out kind of where we are at in the process, what they look like right now. And we even have a couple units on what they started to look like. So this is what we have done to keep 36 units under control. And basically we have written down lists on each unit for a scope of work. So when you go into a project like this, where it's a bunch of value add, you have to mark down, what do you want to do? We want to paint walls and the ceilings. Yes. Cabinet replacement. No. Countertop replacement. Yes. Kitchen sink replacement. Yes. Bathroom sink replacement. Appliances, light fixtures, bathroom accessories, the trim, the flooring. Guys, you need to be very descriptive on what you need done in each unit. Not only do you need to be descriptive, but you also need to pick out a material choice. And if you can pick out a material choice, now you have a set cost with each one of these options. I just like to tell people, maybe think of it as options on a car. What do you want done in each unit? What needs to be done in each unit? So we have walked these units probably 5-6 times already to make sure these lists are right, because we only had a certain amount of renovation budget that we wanted to put into these, which is about $500,000. And I'm gonna break that down in this video. So there's things like cabinets. So in this unit, cabinets will be staying. We have no countertops, which means they are getting replaced in these units. So we will get new countertops. Typically, if the carpet's flooring, we see that, hey, the carpet is okay, the flooring is okay, it needs to be restretched, it needs to be cleaned in order to have a nice unit here. But you can see the paint. The paint is really tough in a unit like this. And this is kind of like where the units start. So they just are getting through the process of having to get these ones finished up, painted. And Jen's always favorite part, the bathrooms. You know, not a lot that needs to happen in here. There's a, new vinyl flooring in here. The vanity, it just needs to be cleaned up, but it'll be okay. Remember, you're not gonna live in these units. Don't replace everything. It's not a good method and you won't make any money in the apartment game. We're gonna find a nice countertop, probably cost us a couple $100, and a mirror and a new light, and boom, we have a decent bathroom ready to go. Instead of just saying gut it and replace everything, it's just not a good method when you're in the value add space. But here's another unit where, hey, just needs a good coat of paint. Most of the windows are okay. The baseboards look okay. Give it a paint job, and you know what? Try to get it leased up, right? Clean it up, get it done right. But most of these units have been okay. So let's go through a new unit. All right, guys, let's break down the numbers on this guy. So here we are, a purchase price of $1.9 million. That's what we paid for these buildings. We also got a principal only carryback from the owners for $215,000. So that is, we got an appraisal at $2.83 million. So you can see that there is some delta there. But the wild card is the construction costs, and that's usually where you live and die in a value add deal. So with our delta in here, we have, all right guys, so here is how this deal breaks down. We closed on this deal for 1.9 million as it sits. But for that deal, we got a seller credit of $215,000. I should say a seller carry because we have to pay him back, but I got that deal done principal only, so zero interest. We carried this deal and it appraised for 2.83 once all of it's occupied. But however, the appraisals see it as we did the renovations, and then they see them as stabilized. So appraisals in the development world give you two appraisals. One at a completed value and then another value at a stabilized value. So most development people do not understand, if you're new to the space, there's two separate valuations, value as built and value as stabilized, because it takes time to stabilize. So appraisals will actually give you a more or less a discredit, like they'll take away from your appraisal cost, because these buildings are always valued based on the revenue that they make. They're just based upon the revenue divided by the cap rate that your market gives, and that's the way it gives it. So 1.9 purchase price, seller carry of 215,000. We appraised as completed at 2.5 million and as stabilized at 2.83 million. So big delta there, 330 grand difference. We got a debt of $1,875,000. That would be 75% of the $2.5 million that we had, that it got appraised for. So we have about 500K in reno. That basically gives us a 1.9 cost. We have a 500 cost and 500,000 in reno that we're gonna complete over time. We didn't need all that at the beginning. So we were actually able to close on this building for $5,600 because we will need to put more money into it, right? We will need to put about another $250,000 into it, but it will be over time. And how I'm trying to combat this deal is I'm filling the deal. I started on renos actually before the close with an early access agreement. So I got to do some of the construction, some of the demo, the light work before we even closed. And now we're already closed in a week and the building's painted, number one. And next week, the flooring will be going in. The next week, the cabinets, and you will have units ready to rent before a month is even up. So if we can stabilize this one building while the other building's in operations, guys, well, what's happening then? Well, now I'm getting to that 2.83 appraisal number. I may be able to ask the bank to increase my leverage if these buildings are stabilized, right? I can stabilize this one while I'm working on the other building, because remember, I have an 18-plex here and an 18-plex over there. I'm gonna try and get this one filled up right away. A lot of marketing, a lot of branding, and trying to get it full as fast as possible to go from that 2.5 appraisal to the stabilized 2.83. If I can share that delta, I may need to come in with $0 because I got to stabilize so fast. So when people come into these flips, and I'm going to call this apartment flip, not a house flip, not only is your statement work super critical, you have to get prices on everything and get everything ready. And the third thing is you have to be acting fast. You do not want a flip to take you 6 months. The interest will kill you. If you're going to do a flip, you have to do it very tight timeline. Time is money, because holding on to these apartments with no tenants, you can about imagine what it costs every month just to keep these things, right? We're burning 10, 20 grand a month with nobody in here. As fast as possible, we wanted to get it stabilized, because then what? We're really doing a BRRRR strategy here. We're bought it, we're gonna rehab it, we're gonna freaking rent it, we're gonna refinance it, and we're freaking gonna do it as fast as humanly possible. So you're not only looking for a numbers game, but you're having your statement of works done, your bids done, but you need to have timing tight. The more you can compress the time, the bigger the delta is and the less money hemorrhaging you're gonna have. Because when you're hemorrhaging money in these properties, things get stressful. So that is how I bought this deal for $5,600, and that's how I'm trying to just keep my $5,600 at bay. I think I can renovate and stabilize these properties fast, all within a month and a half, which means that the bank is gonna see like, wow, yeah, they are stabilized, so we will up your credit on your permanent financing. So that is how I combated this deal, and that's how I'm gonna combat that deal over there. But I wanna break down with you how we did these renovations on these spaces, because I think that can help a lot of you on how we try to actually build a scope of work.